everybody even cares about that show or about some drama that came up after the show. And all I could see was the negativity because that was so loud.
How do you feel looking back on how everything played out in Paradise? Does it feel like you got that resolution as you kind of got your justice years later, or does it still feel like something that upsets you?
Yeah, that's it. I figure a lot of people ask that too. And I'm fine to talk about it because now, I don't know, I'm not like as triggered, I guess. I don't think there is a form of justice possible. I think that could heal or fix me completely, or my family, who unfortunately had to deal with that, which I hate because I wish I just could have taken it all. So yeah, I love that the truth is out, but I think still nobody knows exactly what happened. I know a lot more than I've shared, but there's even still things I'm figuring out. It is the weirdest, creepiest, like mysterious, stalker, psycho, lots of narcissists involved thing. And I don't have a good explanation. I don't, but I think like I have learned a lot. I'm a lot stronger because of it. And I'm serious. Like I don't even know when I think back how I made it through. But now I think I kind of have like a clear head looking at it like, okay, that's not the worst thing to happen to somebody in the world. It was very public and yeah, it sucked. And of course, that's all I could see at the time. Well, guess what? Not everybody even cares about that show or about some drama that came up after the show. And all I could see was the negativity because that was so loud. But now, years later, especially after, finally it was posted online, articles,
right.
It was totally made up. I see how much positivity and support and love that there was back then and now. And as much as I want to say, I wish it didn't happen, I still wouldn't change one thing to end up where I am now.
Right.
Yeah, I learned a lot and I'm so happy to be out of it. I can appreciate what I got out of it, but it just like hurts. It's like, the Bachelor needs a scandal every season, right? And so somebody has to take that, and you're kind of not allowed to say your side. You're not really allowed to stand up for yourself. And looking back, I probably could have a little bit more. But I just kind of took it. I was just like, I don't know what to do. This isn't true, but what can I say? And I did not feel any support from them at all. In fact, it's funny. Like 3 years later, I'm talking to somebody and it was a podcast and they heard me saying that their psychologist reached out to me only to say, I know you did it. You need to admit you did it. Okay. 3 years later, they hear that podcast and they have one of their newer psychologists reach out to me and be like, you okay? Oh, like, listen, this is 3 years too late. Like I was 100% not okay, did not feel supported. It's crazy.
Yeah.
I don't want to even get into it too much because that's their own thing. And there was so many threats about don't say this, don't say that. We're going to charge you money. Someone's going to show up at your house. It was, but
crazy.
They want to, I guess, keep their thing going on. That's fine. I just want to be separate from it. So that's my long answer of, I can look back at it and see how far I've come, what I've learned. So happy to have found my person outside of all that and have Chrisley, and I appreciate all of it. Still a little bit damaged. Clearly, there might still be a little bit of bitterness that I need to talk through eventually, but I would not wish that on anybody to happen.
Yeah. Amazing. Well, you are a newlywed, correct?
Yes.
And you guys elope. So first of all, let me go back for a second. Okay. Tell me how you, if the Us Weekly listeners don't remember, how you met your now spouse and all that.
So that was just the quick story through a mutual friend. They had been kind of like working on some different projects together. And she said, you guys would really get along. You hit it off. I think if nothing else, you'd be great friends. And I'm like, okay, that could be good for now, considering I hadn't been very social. I wasn't out making a lot of friends. I was actually in kind of, a dark space, and he was going through his own things, and we kind of just got together and we're like, sometimes life kind of sucks, but it's way better when you're with somebody that you care about and you can kind of how do I explain it? Like we kind of just went into our own world. We did our own thing. We had so much fun and then dealt with real life stuff later. But she basically had me come into a coffee shop. He had no idea I was coming and I was wearing all pink, like kind of fur. It was ridiculous. But when we just never stopped hanging out. And he is kind of the opposite of me, but it works out really well. And he's my happy place. He's secure. He's amazing. So that was kind of lucky and great. So there.
Yeah, that's awesome. Did he know anything about The Bachelor when you guys met?
Luckily, no, he didn't know. And I'll tell you, even better, he didn't really care. And he's never watched it. I'm like, please don't. So that it was the perfect step kind of outside of that world. And I don't want to go back.
Awesome. And then you guys recently eloped.
Yes.
Tell me about that decision. And it was in New Orleans?
Yes, it was, which I know is random, which I feel like that's kind of like our personalities. We just kind of went with it. So I knew I wanted to marry him. No doubt about that. We were going to. And we just kind of kept going back and forth. Like, are we going to do a destination wedding? No, we should do it here and have everybody, come. And then there was all kinds of, weird regulations going on for years. And it was just like, are we ever really going to do it? Like, we just want to be married. And he was going, we decided to go to New Orleans for the Final Four. He bought some tickets. And so I'm like, okay, I guess we could. He mentioned, should we just get married? And I'm like, oh, I have 3 days to plan it. Sure. Like, let's do it. And somehow it all worked out like perfectly. I loved my dress. Like, the venue was great. The photographer was amazing. It just worked out. It was so relaxing and so fun. And then we decided along with that to come back here and have like a ceremony and a big party later, probably in the fall.
Okay.
Which I kind of like. I know it's weird. Some people are probably like, what? But it was so fun. And it's kind of like, we get to just keep celebrating like throughout the whole year.
Yeah. And I want to ask you all about what you've been up to, but of course we have to start with your partnership with Jane and this wedding box. What can you tell me?
Okay, well, Jane, just in general, I love them so much. They were actually one of my first big partnerships, started years and years ago. And I was just so drawn to them for how they supported small businesses. Love the products, great deal. So I was like, yes, I'm in. I love shopping there every single season. And now that they're offering like these amazing wedding products, like you can't beat it, especially now that I'm, in the midst of planning. It's great. Personalized stuff, jewelry, things you wouldn't even think that you might need, such as like an umbrella, but like one of the cute clear ones. Great shoes. It's so many great gifts. I could just go on and on, obviously.
Do you have a favorite thing in the wedding realm from Jane?
I don't think I could pick one thing, but I think I love how personalized everything can be. So, you can get your new last name on a robe or like a jean jacket, or things for your bridesmaids and like cute little glasses with your name. So yeah. And the bride jewelry is so cute. Like,
I love it. Yes. And is it like a subscription type box thing, or how does that work?
So I'm actually still trying to exactly figure that out. I think it's kind of new, like a newer concept to have it all like in a box. Hopefully, if it was, I would definitely have everybody subscribe. Yeah, it's amazing. There's so much fun stuff in there. And I need to see too if you can even customize a box. I'm not sure, but everything I got was so great.